Monday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Real Talk with Don. We are here. We are now. Mystery Adventures Tours. Bring her right in, my friend Michelle.
Hi.
What's happening?
What's happening?
We are live. We're gonna have another guest in here in a minute. She'll come in. Michelle, it's an honor. Mystery Adventures Tours. Tell the world about yourself.
Well, gosh, where do I start, right? Well, I am considered a trance medium, psychic medium. I am an ordained minister and a demonologist. I am, and I'm very proud of it, the first woman to be on the Worldwide Society of Exorcists. And I also practice different cultures of cult activity, especially in young children. And I am excited because I am part of the Mysterious Adventure Tours going to Scotland. We are actually traveling like a complete circle, which amazes me because every time I'm around people, somehow we always make that complete circle. We'll be going to the Highlands and things like that. We have some amazing areas that we're going to be at.
Well, tell us about how this Mystery Adventures Tour started. Like, what got you involved and everything that's going to happen on your tour?
Well, been working with Maria for a while, and she was talking about different tours that she was actually doing, and we were talking about like the witches and the witch trials. And to kind of tell you a little bit my background, how I see the dead and speak to them. I see them in the moment of their death. So I tell some of the truths for the ones who are not heard. And that would be kind of like, if we were at a brothel, I would be speaking for the prostitutes, how they died, how they were treated, not about maybe the famous person that's in the history book of that place.
Right.
So I give a voice, the truth beyond that truth, for those who have never been heard. So with myself and Catherine Cirillos, we're going to bring a different type of trip to Scotland.
Right.
We are going to be at the spots that they held the witch trials, where the women were actually executed, and actually bring them to life and let them talk, about what they went through. And it makes it very exciting, but the right people that will go on the tour will actually experience what we're going to be able to show them.
I love it. It's beautiful. Michelle, at this time right now, before we head further into details, I'm going to bring in my partner here, Psychic Cindy. She's going to jump in here with us.
Hi, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
They just got off a Paratalk.
I just got off of my show.
I'll be honest. I texted Cindy during her show. I'm like, what am I getting myself into? I said, this one right here is a powerhouse. I need help here, man.
Well, you know what? Good. I am full of love and light, and I give it to everybody. So we're all the same.
No, it's cool. Like, I talked to you yesterday, and I didn't realize, the magnitude of what you do and things like that. And then when, all that's going on in the tour and stuff like that, because I was prepared for something more. But like, I told Maria, I said, I'm not going to let you down. I said, I believe in your project, Maria. And she brought me you. And I'm like, all right, cool. Let's do this. Let's run with it.
Let's do it.
All right. So tell us about Scotland. What are some things that, within Scotland itself, like you're going there, what are going to be some of the things? You guys are going to have dinner and stuff like that, and then do some tours and all that?
Yes. Well, and we'll hit some of the museums that are actually part of the witches and things like that. We're going to actually be at a very historic hotel that's near the Loch Ness region. So, we might be one of those who get those pictures. Just be prepared, right?
That would be amazing.
We're going to be in Aberdeen, Edinburgh, Stirling. We're actually going up. If you look at it, it's kind of like the coastline, and then it kind of loops back around. So we're actually staying in just castles, and we're staying in, historic types of hotels. So this is not something that I would just get on a flight right now and be able to go to,
Right.
and being part of the Highlands and going over by where Aleister Crowley is. I mean,
No thanks. Bye.
No, we actually just talked about this. We were in here talking about this beforehand.
Tapping out.
At the bottom, that's how to find Mystery Adventure Tours for sure. Guys, go check out that website. Marie is a great person. She's got a great lineup of places to go. And Michelle is a host here on one of these tours, at which I'm 100% excited that I may actually change my mind. Instead of Romania, I may go with Michelle. Not sure. But
definitely would have to come, because it's going to be exciting. I mean,
love her energy.
And the thing is, I also have Catherine joining me. So we're the daughters of Hecate, or Hecate, as some people would say.
Yeah, Hecate's my butt.
Right? And
Man.
I am her witch.
And we're drawn to her also, and being the goddess and having parts of the witch trials and the execution, we're able to go, both of us being very strong psychics. I see it one way,
Hey,
Catherine sees it another way. We're going to be able to open up some of these portals and give these women
a little bit.
So you plan on doing like a ghost hunt there, like not a ghost hunt, but like a portal to where people find energy. This is something new that I'm actually learning right now. You told me a little bit ago, Ryan, what's happening? I want to actually learn more about this too, because that's something different from the other tours.
Well, and that's one of the things, we want people to see what we see, whether it's feeling it and stuff. We all, when we go ghost hunting, we all use gadgets. Right. But sometimes we are our own, perfect gadget. And so we want to open people up and actually, bring it to life. I want the people to be able to feel when that one witch got, they tied her hands in front of her, tied her feet, and ready to execute her. I want them to feel that pain and the anxiety that she went through.
That's intense. See, I like that. I've never heard of this before with what you're trying to do, and what you will do.
Yeah.
Christ.
And we've done it many times, so it's kind of one of those that we're going to bring this tour to life. So when you actually go on this tour, yes, we're going to do some, exciting paranormal, but we're also going to, like I said, tell you the truth behind the truth. So,
right. So you get a history lesson, and then you get to experience, I don't want to say ritual, because that's not the way to do it, but like you get to feel the experience of the past while learning. You got something going on, my friend. You really do. I love it. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, and the great thing is about Mysterious Adventure Tours, we're not the only tour. We might not be the tour that everybody wants to go to. There are tours out there that no matter what you're into, you can actually find one that's gonna, make it great. But where else can you go and go to places that if you were just a regular tourist, you wouldn't even know about? You wouldn't even adventure there. You would just go to the shops, to the eateries, and probably miss the most exciting adventures in history for Scotland.
Right. You got something different from the rest too, because I've seen a lot, like Courtney. Courtney was on the show last week. She was talking about her experience, and then Maria and Courtney's been on the show like a couple weeks back, maybe a month back. I don't even know now. And they were talking about the Gettysburg. It was a month, right? And you were on there. Yeah. They were talking about the Gettysburg, and then, like I said, Romania, and then there's the Ireland trip. Like, this is the first time I'm hearing about there being something more like, as far as like the experience with history. I asked them about, where you guys are going to go eat and things like that. But this is the first time I'm hearing like you're going to do like rituals in a way that you get to feel the past. Like, that blows my mind. Like, I'm serious. Kind of gave me chills.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to do the local witch trial history tour. Well, you're going to hear the history of it, But while we're there, while that person is giving us a tour, we're going to make sure the people will actually experience that tour, not just hearing the verbiage, but actually feeling and bringing in, one thing that myself and Catherine do is when we do get together, we're able to call in spirit. And like I said, we tell the stories of the ones that are not written down. We hear about all these beautiful mansions and different, historical castles. And we hear of the king or the queen, but you don't hear of the ones that were the maids or, the helpers. Those are the stories we end up telling. And so a lot of times I get called into places and they're like, can you tell us a little bit more about what else happened in this home? So I will tell the dark secrets of what happened in that home. And then when they look at it, they're like, oh, this was actually, put to the side. So I kind of open up another chapter in that history book.
I like your nails, number one.
Thank you.
It's fantastic. I love it. But one of the things that's really huge for me, especially because I'm a witch, because I'm a psychic medium, and because I understand, number one, as a witch, of you opening up yourself and being able to open up the energy for other people to experience it. But what I want to know, especially because you aren't going to be on native land, how are you going to protect yourself and all of the people that are with you?
Actually, we do have some protection spells, and we also have some sigils that we'll be using. And prior to each stop, that, we'll decide when we're there, which ones will we use, how will we protect them.
So can you explain sigils? Because some people may not understand what a sigil is.
Yes, we use different types of sigils for protection, depending on if we put it on. We can actually use it with herbs, or we can do it with candles, or we can draw it on paper. Each sigil that we pick will have a different meaning of what type of protection we're looking for. A lot of it that we're going to be using is actually putting a barrier around the people who are on the tour. So this way there's no attachments. The history has to stay where it's at. We also have different little prayers depending on the location. We pick different, prayers. So we're not going to use the same prayer for each location, especially like when we're going, by Aleister Crowley's land. We're going to use a lot of the love and the light. But you got to remember, I also do a lot in the dark. So I have to be prepared and bring the light with me. So we actually use those. There's not one sigil or one prayer. We have to make sure we're able to change it up to where the location is.
Gotcha.
So I just want to let everybody know, I kind of wanted you to break down what a sigil is. A sigil is basically a magical symbol that is created, drawn out, written out, but placed around on for protection for whatever. So the sigil is a magical symbol used.
Correct.
I just wanted to make sure everybody understood what a sigil is, because there are some people that are not, they don't understand what a sigil is.
That's good.
I actually make my own too. Like I really enjoy like the artwork of it, like because anything you could make a symbol of anything with a sigil. It's beautiful.
Very intuitive.
All right, my friend Michelle. Cool. Getting into like the spiritual side of it, metaphysics, exorcisms, demonology. How did you get started? And I mean,
wait, do you believe in demons?
Well, so let me explain demons to people. Okay, everybody calls certain things demons, but different cultures have their own types of demons. So we have our biblical, we have ones that come from ancestors, because a demon to a lot of people is considered the negative side of things. So when I do this stuff with everything, I actually go into the culture that they're part of. I have my own types of beliefs, but I also work with their belief system. So, when I was younger, when I started getting, these talking to my imaginary friends, they were not the beautiful light and everything that people seen, or the little boy or the little girl with the doll. I was seeing them at the point of their death. So all of them were kind of like a very bad nightmare as a child. I started to block a lot of that off for the longest time. But as, I was getting older, they were getting stronger. And so there was a calling. There was that part of there is negative out there that will attack people. And so I had to learn how to navigate. And so the draw was actually getting all into that. And then I started, kind of studying with different cultures, to make sure that if I went into someone that believed more into a jinn than they did a demon, I would know how to, proceed with what I needed to do. And so I kind of went through that. So demon is kind of a word I think a lot of people use loosely, because if it looks bad, it looks, like the Alien movie, it's considered demon. And a lot of people don't realize that sometimes a lot of negative energy from somebody who was very bad in life can portray itself and look like a demon type of creature.
Yeah, that makes sense, actually. I've dealt with that.
A lot of witches don't believe necessarily in demons, because demons are more related to Christianity than anything, because demons were created and
in the Bible
yes,
to gather the masses and control them. Correct.
Exactly. And so that's why I asked specifically if you believe in them, because witches don't usually believe in them, because it's completely a different.
It's a different realm. And again, even with witches, you have your light, you have your dark. You have to have the two to balance.
Yeah.
And so, it depending on how someone, what their mind creates of the darkness. Sometimes we see a black void. Other times your mind will create a figure, because that's how it's trying to, make sure your eyes and your mind are gathered together. So it just depends on who you're working with. There's when you work with a lot of people from, Brazil and Spain, they believe in the actual demons, the devil, and they portray it like what we see that people draw. But when you go, the same over in Europe, but their demons look a little different. It's kind of, different shapes, forms. And so it's really, and the jinn is really big, with people from Pakistan and places like that. The jinn can be good, but if you cross it, wrong, it can turn into its own demon and bring, that. So it's really important to understand everybody's faith base to be able to help them with the negative that they're actually, dealing with.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense too, because when you say the jinn and when I talk to people I deal with, they bring up the Kali Ma, and then the jinn, and then with the voodoo, like
yes,
Obaya. I mean, it's all like different cultures of what they see. So. I totally
and exorcisms are done around the world. They're just all done differently. Some people yell at it. We have to remember that you can love Jesus, you can believe in God, but you have to be open to that the Bible has been written by man. And back in the day, well, that's just like our tour in Scotland. If you had a woman who was like a medicine woman who could help with herbs and stuff to, stop bleeding or whatever, because that wasn't controlled by that sector, it was considered you were a witch, whether they were or they weren't. And, but you think though, back with Native Americans, your herbs and everything were used to help you with illnesses and different things, and was looked at as a medicine man. So, when we look at all that and we go back to Scotland on the tour, you have to kind of think that way because they had to control the masses. And you think about it, propaganda has been here millions and millions of years. And the Bible was one of the biggest propagandas that a lot of people actually have done, and read. But more people are open to reading between the lines.
Yeah.
I feel that if I was to pray to Jesus or if I talk to God, I can do it wherever I'm at, and I'm going to talk to him like I'm talking to you guys.
Exactly.
I see where you're getting at. I love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But again,
I once had that same conversation when I was 14 to the minister of our church, and my teen group peer teacher, and they really didn't agree with me that you can pray anywhere and you don't have to do it in a church, and they didn't necessarily agree with me. So I did not necessarily agree with them that it was only in specific places that you could do this. And I never went back to church again.
You think about it, they always say you can't take it with you.
Yeah.
Well, if I can't take it with me, then why are you trying to take it all? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's kind of, everybody has their views.
Pedro?
Yeah. So it's kind of like, okay, I believe what my truth is, and that's what I work with. And I don't care what other people think, if that makes sense.
It sure does. Ding, ding, ding. Got it.
I left high school a while back, so I'm not worried if I'm popular.
Exactly. I was friends with everybody. It didn't matter if I was popular. I had every friend from every clique. It didn't matter.
Yeah, so it's, and that's kind of where I wanted to continue the work. And, and doing the tour, showing people the different type, everything that was constrained during that time. I want to open back up. But that also goes with having the team I have, to still help people in need. Because, they might say there's demons in their home. Well, again, I can't say, no, they're not demons, because in their eyes, it could be a demon.
Right.
But I'm not going to come straight out all the time. Now, when I do help, I help all different churches. I mean, I've had churches say, can you come and help us bless a home because we don't carry the holy water? Well, sometimes the holy water doesn't work. Sometimes it has to be done a different way. And that's kind of what I want to bring across, because people think the word exorcist or the word demonology all is on the biblical side. It's not. You have to fight different types of so-called demons in different ways. And that kind of puts me on a different realm than some folks.
Now, would that go into like psychology as well too? Like, say if someone is on drugs and stuff like that, like battling demons like that as well. Like somebody who may think they're haunted when they're truly just like mentally not stable.
I would bring that up, to be honest.
Well, and before we do any of that, people just think that all these exorcist people just run into a home and do it.
Right.
That's not how it's done. There is such a very long process. I mean, we check the medical background, their psychiatric background.
Yeah.
What kind of drug use? Okay, so what kind of pills are you on now? There could be people taking pills for migraines that can actually cause side effects. Yeah. So we tear everything down. We don't just go raging in there with crosses and sage and holy water and just say, be gone with you. Bye. Bye. We go through each step, and we have to make sure, and a lot of people forget this, the person who thinks that they're possessed, if there is a possession of any type, which is very rare, which I'm going to put out there, very rare, because you have to allow it.
Yeah.
So you have your infestation, which starts in the home. The biggest one a lot of people have is oppression. Okay. The third one is the possession. Okay. But here's the thing. if there's mental health issues, they can't willingly accept it. It has to be accepted. We all have free will, and that goes across the board. Just like the angels had free will to choose, are they going to stay with God up there in heaven or go down to hell with Satan? Same concept.
Now, when you go through sorry, go ahead.
Well, and that's what I'm saying, like in the Bible and things like that, it does state God gave permission for Satan to use humans as rag dolls and treat us and throw us and shred us to everything, but he can't take us unless we give them to him. So we would have to say that. And a lot of mental health patients with a lot of it's schizophrenia, they're hearing the voices, they're saying, I'm doing the work for them. But if you notice, they never said they accepted them because they're always trying to push it away. So, you have to go through each one of those steps because their body and their mind has to be strong, even if they have a bad attachment, to be able to fight the attachment. I can't just go in because you said you had an attachment and get it away from you. Until you physically yourself know that you want it gone, it will not go.
Right.
So I think it's something that's really good. You brought up attachment. First of all, how do they know they have an attachment? Because most people would not know they have an attachment. But do you also, what is your thought on attachments?
Well, I feel like we do self-manifestation more than a complete attachment. Okay. So here's the thing that some people will feel like they've got an attachment because they're, heavy on the shoulders, something's following me. As their fear starts growing, or they're, have anxiety, or if they have some type of depression, what happens? We self-manifest our own negative energy. So how everybody sees their shadow on a wall? Well, a lot of times that's what you're seeing behind you, that shadow. And that shadow is you manifesting whatever might have negative energy, anxiety energy, and you're building your own shadow person, which people then feel like it's an attachment. So honestly, I would say 90% or 99% of the time, it's something that person has manifested more. Now, can you get an attachment if you go to a haunted location? Yes. But again, remember, you have to be open enough to want it to come to you.
Yeah.
You're going to have to invite it. It just doesn't, yes, people do get jumped in haunted location. It happens.
That happened to my girlfriend.
Yeah. So, but again, they jump right back out. The only way it really stays on there, even if you have just a smidgen of it and you're feeding it, you're going to make it grow. And then you now have created your own monster on top of what you already had.
Michelle, you sound like a mimic of Cindy this weekend. So I did a small ghost hunt, and I suffer from depression and anxiety. And Cindy called me right out on it. I had to have her, virtual walk through a house. We're not going to talk about, the house or nothing like that. But I mean, it's like a mimic of what you're saying. I guess I created it.
Right.
And I'm an investigator, but I guess my own emotions caused all this shit. Sorry, but it just is on point. So I totally understand now. It's like it gave me chills again. So do you remember the first time, as a kid, your first paranormal experience and how you knew of what you are? I mean, it's just. I could remember mine, and I always ask this question because it's like as a kid, it's like yesterday.
Well, there was actually two real strong ones. One, now I realize why I hate dolls. My dolls used to move and want to play with me because there were these creepy young kids, trying to do that, right? So I would always hide the dolls in my closet. Now, I grew up in Germany. So, the German mother always helped make your bed. It had to be perfect. And if you had dolls or nice things, they would set it up. And every time I'd come home from school, them dolls are looking at me. But the biggest one, I think, was I my chore in Germany was to leave my Oma's house and go down the block where she could still see me. I'd pick up the fresh bread and the lunch meat and bring it home every day for lunch.
Mm-hmm.
But I kept always having this car come up to me with this guy that always said, "Come on in the car. I've got,"
Creepy.
right? And I always ran home and never said anything, but it was happening all the time that I was able to tell you what the guy looked like, different things. I finally went home and said it, and it was one of those that, no, that can't be true. That's not true. And I had uncles who were police officers in Germany, and they kept telling me, "I think you're lying. I'm thinking you're lying." And I am like in tears going, "No, he was trying to get me in his car. He's trying to get me in his car." Well, they kept saying I was lying, thought I seen something on TV. They didn't know because the guy I was seeing was actually dead. Because he had killed himself, but he had kidnapped children and had killed them. And so I was seeing his way of going, but he kept trying to get me in the car. And I remember the candy and everything. I mean, I could smell it all. And, I finally broke down and said, "Oh, okay, I made it all up," because I didn't know how to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
And it
How
was,
old were you?
I was about 8, 9 years old.
Wow. Yeah. That's
And,
pretty-
so what you're seeing is true. You have the total fear because it's so real.
right.
And then you have family members, and you got to remember, they're like, "This is not a thing,"
Right.
You're just kind of like, well, maybe it is not a thing, then you start questioning yourself. And so I kept every night, "I don't want to see you. I don't want to talk to you. You guys are mean. You're getting me in trouble. Go away, go away." And it was like a ritual, and I kept trying to suppress it constantly. And the funny thing is, I have actually talked to my mom and dad about this now later on in life. And I'm like, "I'm telling you, it was real." And now they're kind of sitting back going, "Oh my God, that was probably real." And I'm like, "I've been trying to tell you this for years,
Actually, right there is the person I was telling you about before we started the conversation. Before we got on live, Bill Slevin. He's the one that I told you he goes in with the psychology part, and
Yes.
we were talking about the money. Like, he does it because he loves to do it, and we were talking about that too. We can talk about that in a moment. So Bill's there, so I'd love to get you in contact with him at some point. He's a great guy.
Yeah, definitely.
Indeed.
But so that's what got me to also work with a lot of children.
Mm.
Because here's the thing, I feel that if the children can't speak to some of it, because they're all open, they're, pure. Yes, some of it will go away as they grow older, some won't. And, kids are very scared of talking about these things. And sometimes it starts manifesting even more and more, that it can cause, mental issues as they get older, because they don't know where reality is and that fine line. So I do work with a lot of young children. I, have them draw pictures and things, because if they're drawing a picture of something that doesn't make sense, you might want to kind of look at it a little bit and maybe guide them, or let them know it's not scary, or show them ways of stopping it, like, "Not now, I don't want to talk."
Right.
And just kind of let them know. Like I said, when I was growing up, sitting at the dinner table, seeing an aunt who died before my mother was born, and talking to her and getting in trouble on the dinner table, talking to nobody. It's rough. It is rough. And it's like when you're explaining what you're seeing and they're all looking at you strange, you got to the point where, am I even normal? What's going on?
Nope, I wasn't normal. I always said it. I'm
I gotta
weird,
ask you,
Mom.
this is the first thing that just came into my mind, and I have to know, like, all right, so when we talk about mental health, so
Yes.
as a child, right? So say as a child that you're seeing these things and you have no one to talk to, and you knew what you've seen, will that create mental health problems in the future when you're an adult, knowing what you saw and no one believed you? Like,
Well, so I have this theory, like, there was a very famous little girl that is known for her schizophrenia, for being so
Lori, long
young.
time. Hi.
And then her brother also is schizophrenic. And I have actually believed that she's not necessarily schizophrenic. I actually believe that she could actually be a medium, and these people, her parents and the people they're bringing her to, they have no goddamn clue anything about psychic phenomenon. Oh, you're seeing and hearing things. Well, you must be delusional. You must be making this shit up. You must be out of your fucking mind. So then they put these kids on these psychotropics, these little kids on these psychotropics, and all you need to do is get them in a fucking room with a fucking psychic medium, and the psychic medium will go, tell me what you see.
Did you just curse? It's this children's
Probably.
show.
It's a what show?
Just messing with you.
I do
It's a
know
children's
that these go
question.
trippingly out of my mouth.
I do have a quick question. I'm sorry, but I'm getting blown up because there's a lot of people watching saying they can't.
Yeah, there is
comment.
too. Like they
can't
they
what?
can't comment. All right,
Yeah,
so
people
whoever
can't
can't
comment.
comment. All right, I got a solution for this because I got it on Dominic's. Go to Real Talk with Dom. Comment in here. I'm watching. Lori's right there. Nitro. All that. So go in there and go to Real Talk with Dom on WLFEDB, and I'll be able to see the comments. I cannot see comments on Dominic Center, so I just post it there so people can watch. But go to Real Talk with Dom, and we could make it happen. I'll put it up for you.
Yeah.
And where you're coming from, it's a very fine line.
It is. And we can usually tell, psychic mediums can usually tell the difference between mental illness and psychic
But it
ability.
hasn't caught up to the science yet. And so that's where you have to
can't
walk.
explain it to them.
Yeah, but that's a fine line. But there are more doctors and stuff out there that are wanting to listen.
Yeah.
So, that has become more of a thing.
That's right.
I have spoke to some, I've done lectures actually with your residents and things like that, and going to set up some more because they want to know that other side.
Yeah.
Too many
Right.
things happen to them that they can't explain. So,
Right.
there is that fine line. But here's the thing. I feel at the point you might think that they have actual, abilities, but how much of those abilities is right borderline? So, that's when I would call in somebody else and say, let's do this together. You know what I mean? So, I work a lot with everybody. I'm not the answer to all, and I will not be the answer to all because especially with kids and teenagers too, you start getting different hormones going in, different things that they're dealing with at schools and all this other kind of stuff. And then you try to tell them something else that is just waiting to explode. And so I just kind of, like I said, I reach out and grab who I need to help me in the situations I am.
Yeah.
And I try to do it that way because I want the best results. I think a lot of people with schizophrenia might be needing to be looked at a little different instead of just, saying, hey, let's put some pills on you. Let's bring you down. Same with people with bipolar. Bipolar people have to watch sometimes because there are psychics out there that actually get more dream premonitions that can actually affect the way your personality is during the daytime, which can make it manic or depressive or anything like that. So I would love to work with psychologists and different people like that to bring that line together, because maybe we might have an answer to mental illness, sooner than later.
Well, with the mental illness too, can I ask you another question too? I mean, this is like all medical stuff. Like you
and I am not a doctor.
And I apologize if I'm going off the lines of really what we're talking about. But all right, so something else I suffer from, sleep paralysis. I get that often, but I've been told I could do like, possibly going to alter universes, alter planes, seeing things in that sleep paralysis form. Like, what do you think all that is? Is that a medical problem, or is there something more?
There is too. A lot of people do astral projection during their sleep, especially if you're very in tune with yourself.
Yes.
What happens is sometimes the body will wake up before you're ready to be back in it to do it. So that will actually give you that sleep paralysis. But you can also have it if you have a very active home. Something could be stopping you. But there is a medical condition that does happen. Again, depending on the person itself. Myself, when I get something like that, I know I've been traveling because I'm that in tuned. So I'm probably still dill-dallying away in the flowers somewhere when my body's saying wake up, and I'm like, oh, hold on a second. That would be me because I'm always late for the train.
There's also, Dom, there's also another way that there's sleep paralysis, which is alien activity.
Well, I've heard about that too. And actually, my friend Amy right here, she's right there. Actually, there's a question for you, Michelle, from my friend Amy. What do you think about abrupt spiritual awakening?
I have seen this, and I will tell you, it is a train wreck. And, you can actually kind of guide people with it. But here's the thing. They probably have had those kind of abilities for a long time. And something happened in their life that kind of suppressed it. And now there comes a time where finally it says, okay, we're done. It's wakening up. Have a nice time. Hold on tight. Here we go. That kind of happened with me. Because I was suppressing it for so long because I didn't want to be called the weird girl. That finally got to the point. It was like, that volcano that stays silent for a long time. It finally erupted. And I literally thought they were going to have to put me in a straitjacket because it was crazy. But after that happens, there's other things will start awakening, but now you're more in tune with yourself that you're able to navigate a little bit depending on what that awakening is.
Right.
As myself, I'm also what a lot of people call an anchor, and didn't realize that was a part of what I did because I always see the dark. And then I started noticing weird things were happening with me and what I was seeing, and noticed that was kind of like going in there, but helping, I've always helped spirit move on, but not in this sense. Right. So that was kind of an abrupt thing to me that I started looking, going, okay, who else does this? What's going on? What's happening to me?
Wow.
Right. It's really tough sometimes, and it can be different kinds of spiritual experiences that you actually can experience. I had actually my Kundalini started rising without me knowing what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
And so you can have a abrupt spiritual awakening where you're completely zapped, and it's just for you to get in touch with your abilities. But then there are other things like your Kundalini rising. A lot of people try to do that purposefully with intention, especially doing specific kind of yoga. But I had no idea. And it was,
and it's dangerous. It is very dangerous. If you're not chosen to have that type of thing happening to you, and you're searching for it, you can die. And people don't realize that.
It's so
I just told Amy that too. And Amy's got another question for you, but I want to bring this up too for Lori. I get the same thing, Lori. But go on.
So the weird part is that with your Kundalini rising, you can literally be experiencing panic attacks, agoraphobia. You can suddenly become allergic to all kinds of medications.
Yes.
You can start having panic attacks out of nowhere. You can literally start having physical things, migraines out of nowhere, your body hurting, just things, transformations within your body. I mean, all of these things. And the thing is a lot of times you'll feel like you're going out of your mind.
And that's the big thing. And a lot of people do, because sometimes when you do that big train wreck, It's like all your abilities want to come out at once.
At one time. And not only that, it's literally that you feel like you can't talk to anybody because you don't know how to explain anything to them. So I had my best friend that I would always, I had somebody that I could talk to about psychic things. And I couldn't even talk to her. I couldn't even talk to her to explain it. And several months had gone by, and I finally said, okay, this is what's been going on. She goes, oh my God, Cindy. Hi, Kimberly.
Squirrel.
And it's literally like, she's like, holy shiz, your Kundalini just rose. Did you understand what was going on? I'm like, no. She's like, do you know that how many people die from their Kundalini rising by itself? She's like, most of the time people like, this is a step thing. This isn't just like 0 to 100. She's like, this is, and what you did and what it sounds like happened was crazy. And it's very terrifying because you don't know what's going on. You can't explain.
Lori, write me tomorrow. Lori. I'm gonna get you on one of these nights about this because I know you have. I know you. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just want Lori to know.
No, hey, this is your show, right?
She's got like I think it was like maybe 5 years ago when I met Lori. Lori is she's on point. She's an empath. I'm glad she's back on here and talking. So we'll talk tomorrow, Lori, too. And thank you for dropping in and say hello. So that's cool, man. She's a nice person. Yeah. All right. Let's move on with it.
Yeah. So like she was talking about that, just like when I started waking up with being, like an anchor, which I didn't even know what that meant at that point.
Right.
Because when I went into a place that I moved on spirit, I knew what I was doing, but didn't realize this part was going to be all part of it. And I was actually at a event and we were downstairs, we were talking, and this guy, I kept seeing this guy next to this other guy. Hey, Aaron, squirrel.
It's not a squirrel. We can see it scrolling. Or John puts it up there, so it's not.
I can see it. Yeah, I'm trying to. It's so fast. So sorry, guys.
No, you're fine. I wanted to give a shout out to everybody that's on there.
Cool,
anyway.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
I kept explaining what this guy looked like, and the guy kept saying, that can't be. He's still alive." And I'm like, "No, he's right here." And we turned the lights on, and I seen this guy actually alive. And I'm like, wait a minute. I seen him. I was in the light with him. What's going on? So we walked outside and then all of a sudden I pretty much asked him, did you try to commit suicide? Because I'm seeing you trying to die. And that had never happened to me, especially not at an event. I'm very controlled at an event because I don't want to get everybody's stuff. But he actually came there to see or try to find answers. Where do you go after you die? And so what I was seeing was him trying to commit the suicide and everything. And I was already in the light with him, pushing him out of the light that he wasn't supposed to. Blew my mind, messed me up for the event. I was just like, how is this possible? Never told anybody. I didn't know how to explain it.
Right.
And I was on a couple of calls, and they're like Zoom calls, and some of my, closest friends who are also mediums are like, God, Michelle, you need to go ground. Your light is like just blinding us. It's all over the place. It's crazy. And I finally had to explain to them, but my whole inside, I was so amped up. It was almost like, the Energizer Bunny.
Yes.
I could not slow down. I couldn't get rid of it. It was like everything I tried, and it was crazy how that happened. Yeah, I did help Candy too.
Candy's awesome. She's been putting your website up and how to find you. Candy, thank you for that. I appreciate that.
That's really
so
great.
I'll keep putting it up there, Candy. That's awesome. Thank you.
So, Michelle, those abrupt awakenings at a time that you didn't expect something to happen and couldn't explain to anybody, because it was one that I kept seeing him try to kill himself. Then I seen his dad, who actually did kill himself, and they were trying the same thing. So it blows your mind because you're like, you're not ready. But I get diarrhea of the mouth, And so, you know, things just happen to go out.
Yeah.
You can't explain in a few words what takes a lifetime or three to understand. Yeah.
Amen.
You know, let me ask you both. Actually, you both, we all do the same thing. I'm different. I'm just an investigator. I'm not a psychic. How do you guys ground yourself when you feel everyone as far as being empathic? Like, how the hell do you guys, like, you don't get anxiety attacks? You don't, like, hide yourself in, like, friggin' room for, like, 3 or 4 days? I mean, shit, how do you guys help yourself?
I've done all of that.
Yeah, I mean, there's different ways. I mean, I was down with that one. That one took, you know, a while for me.
Right.
But a lot of times if I know I'm going to a place, because especially when you're doing an event and they know there's somebody that has abilities, you know, people are bringing their baggage, you know, they're coming.
Right.
So I'm able to prepare then. You know, that night I couldn't prepare. And that is one of those nights, like, you know, Cindy said, you think you're about to lose your dang mind and you don't know how to explain it because you don't understand it yourself.
Right.
So like I said, we wing it.
A wing and a prayer.
Yeah. So it's
I mean, it's
crazy.
When I go into like certain like investigations, like the weekend. All right, so there's a couple people there. I didn't feel technically anything till the entire night, and then Cindy started doing what she did, and I started feeling my skin crawl off because she did like some kind of cleansing on me. But I felt that like right through her phone, like she just mentally got there. Yeah. And then the girl, she's friggin' almost wanted to puke in the house. It just like everyone got hit with like
work that I was literally doing with all of them there. And normally I wouldn't have other people there that I would do such intense work, but it had to be done right then and there. So,
and it wasn't one of these.
I couldn't do anything.
Yeah,
this is not my first day on a job.
Yeah,
it wasn't my first day on a job either. I mean, we went according to, you know, my friend Ted. He wrote the book. What is it? Think Outside the Paranormal Box. So we kind of went old school. Things like that. I didn't really have a friggin' recorder, but this thing, whatever it was only messing with us when we stopped recording. And then at that point, I'm like, I got to call Cindy because there's nothing, this is out of my control now. You know, I can only do so much. So I'm like, hey, let me walk you through this house real quick. And she
don't say anything. Don't say anything.
Shit. I know it just, but it got us. And things happened today. Actually, I'll talk to you about that later, Cindy, but like something followed us too. But, let me put that back up for Candy as well. Real quick, Michelle, we're at the about the hour marker. I said we're not going to go all night. Let everyone know how to get a hold of you. Candy's been doing it all night, but Michelle, let everyone know how to get a hold of you through audio.
Well, actually, they can visit us on our Facebook page at Riverside Iowa Paranormal. They can also click on the links that, you know, Candy's been putting out there for the Daughters of Divinity, right? But we also have, if anybody does need help, you know, even if it's, you know, I say it's kind of a mentorship when it helps people with abilities. It's more of a guidance or just someone you can talk to. There's no real way helping somebody else with an ability, but you can be there and some, you know, that support group. And that's huge because that's what, you know, they understand. I
mean, listen, how many times, if you didn't have another person who is psychic that you could talk to, would you not have felt crazy?
Yes.
I really feel that it is important for psychic people, empathic people to really have somebody else that understands what they're going through, because we feel like we're crazy at times. We don't understand all the time of why we're picking shit up that we're picking up.
And it's true. And like I said, you know, there's times when you are at an event, you know, you're trying to pick up what's in the building, but people bring baggage in.
Oh, God.
All these mixed signals, and you're like, I don't even know where I'm at. So, but it's honestly, we help people. We do not charge for our services when we help anybody that has problems. They can get a hold of us at riversideiowa.paranormal.org.
Ah, shit, I just put that down too. Let me put that back up.
Aaron, that's awesome. There it is. Candy,
I'll put Aaron back up there too.
So, you know, we actually do help those. And again, we talk about events and things like that. What we do is we're able to give our services free for families in need. We do events. We do split the money 50-50, one for historic preservation for the places we're going to keep them up and going. But then the rest is put in a fund. And that's how we're helping families across the United States, with us having, Riverside Iowa Paranormal has a whole bunch of chapters from, like I said, the West Coast, the East Coast. We're in the UK. We're in the Midwest. We're able to get people the help they need. Sometimes it's just somebody on the phone. Again, it's not a fix-all. We do go, we have a lot of paperwork we make people fill out and work with, but we're there for them. And the same with, people with abilities. Sometimes we just kind of talk to each other, it's kind of like that. It's almost like an AA meeting for psychics. That's what it is. You get up and say, hello, my name's Michelle. And
I've never heard that before. That's a good way to put it.
Hi, my name is Cindy. I'm a physical medium, empath, the clairvoyant, clairaudient. I smell stuff I shouldn't.
Pretty much. But the biggest thing is
that's hysterical.
The stuff that we do, we help. But again, what I do is I tell the truth beyond the truth. And that is the stories of those who have been forgotten. And this is one of those things that I am so excited that Maria did choose myself and having Catherine join me in Scotland, because I think it's time there's a voice for those women who were persecuted, and some males. We will speak for them too, but we want to make sure that there is a voice there. And I think, anybody that will, join us.
I love that. It just makes me giggle just hearing it again.
So, that's kind of, I think it's going to be an amazing trip, and there's other amazing trips on there. You spoke to Courtney. Courtney is an amazing medium.
Cool.
So imagine going with her to Gettysburg and her wakening up the battlefields, and you're able to hear and smell and feel what she's opening up. That's amazing. And
just like I talked to you yesterday, Courtney is one of these type of people that I talk to her like a family member. We're just going back and forth. She's super nice. And then,
oh my God, she's a lovely, lovely. I adore her.
Just on top of being friends with her, she knows her shit. Like, she put her research in. Holy shit. And, she's just a nice person. She was on last week just talking about her childhood. Cindy, you remember that?
Yeah, but I do. I was there. Remember, I couldn't help myself, and I started busting into reading with.
It don't matter. We had a good time, but
sunshine.
Like, with the mysterious adventure stories, you guys know your shit and what you're doing and like where you're going and everything involved. That's why I brought it up to her the first time when Genevieve was here with me. Like, you guys are gonna tour the foods and the town and the history of everything. It's like
that's
shit.
Awesome.
Romania was like a dinner party there in a castle,
right? And think about it. It's a $100 deposit that holds your spot, and then you're able to pay a low monthly payment, and that doesn't start till like August or September. So your trip will be paid for before the trip even happens. And
it's super cheap.
Ours is October 1st through the 9th in 2022.
Nice.
We had to move it due to COVID, but you know what? I'm glad we did. I think that was a sign. I know that's a bad thing to say.
No.
More and more people are now looking at themselves saying, I deserve something like this. We are looking at, hey, we need to take care of ourselves. Let's do something we would enjoy, instead of, I got to pay this, or I'm going to save for this for a rainy day. Well, you know what? We have a lot of rainy days.
Right.
Do it.
Well,
that's what I
may catch shit for this. I'm not sure if I'm going to catch shit for this, but Maria, I'm sorry. Your tour is selling like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I might get in trouble for that tomorrow, but there's a reason everyone wants to go on that, and you just got it going. My friend, you are with the history, what your plans are, and then just your demeanor alone is selling this.
Oh yeah, so. And I will sit down. I can't. my mom. I'm German. So, I'm going to sit down at every one of those pubs, those little restaurants, and I will break bread with anybody and talk, because that's the best way to do it, because
I'll be in the pub with you.
There you go.
For sure. I mean, you're like,
awesome.
the crazy thing is I told everyone, I even said it tonight, like when we jumped on the show, I was actually nervous about you because of like your structure and, who you are. But you're a human just like we are. And you're just so friggin' nice and cool.
Well, thank you.
You're super easy to talk to. Ask Cindy. I was actually I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with tonight? Like I researched somebody else. I don't know what I'm going to do with her, but it just came out to be an easy talk. So
it is. And it's been amazing, and it's been fun and relaxing. So thank you for that.
I appreciate you. Thank you for making my night easy, for Christ's sake.
You're welcome.
But yeah, so if we need to go into detail with anything else with the Mysterious Adventures Tours, Cindy, you got anything else you want to add to Michelle as well?
Sorry, I'm trying to talk to my son for a second. Sorry about that.
That's cool.
So I do actually, I do have another. Is there, do you do readings then also?
I do readings. I do past life readings.
I do regressions. My past life stuff just pops up every now and then, but I do past life regression work. So that's amazing.
And I also help with spiritual rebirth. And then what that is with part of the past life readings, it does integrate to what you're doing now. It can cause issues, spiritually. So I normally tell people, don't come at me unless you want to hear the truth. You want a couple of cuss words, and I'm going to keep it real. I'm not going to be fancy. I don't give love notes. It is, there's been times that, I might be looking at their life as a child and the stuff they went through. I'll see the abuse they went through. I can tell them how it happened. But then I can also tell them how to start healing themselves.
That's amazing.
Because that's kind of what I do. And I do that on the side. They're, pretty private. I do not do free readings like over the internet because I'd love to see the tarot and the ruins, but that's not my calling. Mm-hmm. My calling is to tear you down and build you up to be someone better, both physically, spiritually, and emotionally. I've got a good clientele, and sometimes they're like, God, I wish I never started with you, but now, things happen, for them. And
so does it take more than one session with you then?
A lot of times, depending on what the first session comes out with. And it's also up to them also, it is, again, free will. It's not something I say, oh, you have to have 5 more sessions. You know what I mean? Yeah. This is,
I get it.
I'm going to give you the reading. I'm going to tell you what I'm seeing, what's going on, and what you're not letting go, and what's eating you up, and what's going to keep you hindered and keeps hitting that, how you have one of those little dolls that walk and they keep hitting the wall because they don't know how to go around.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I tell you. And then I can tell you, this is something we can work on together. You get to choose, and then I'm available if you need me. So I never pressure anybody to anything.
You don't beat around the bush. That's what I like about you.
No.
Do you have a specific website? Do you have a specific email? Anything that you do specifically for your readings?
They can actually.
That, but I didn't know if she has something separate for her readings.
Yes,
I just put it back up.
Yeah, I actually have my own Facebook page that people can just reach out to me, Michelle Roos, on Facebook. I know.
Can you spell your last name?
Is it there at the bottom? Do I have that right? All I did was copy and paste your page.
That's it, on the bottom of the page. Private message me.
Perfect.
Aaron, I know I keep it real. I'm sorry, hon. I tore you up.
I like that. No, go ahead. I think that's great.
But I do. I'm very real.
You have to keep it real, right? Sometimes people don't. They'll just keep ignoring stuff, right?
And I have another medium that's on our team. He is really the love notes. So if you really want to talk to grandma, grandpa, or your uncle, and you want to hear things, I will send you to him. I'm not going to be the one to say, oh, yeah. Does grandma or somebody come through at times? Yeah, they could. but that's really not what I see. I mean, it's almost like I see into people's souls, and I know it sounds mean, but I can shred it and then turn it around and regrowth. Just like if a rose dies, I'll replant you and have you bloom.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing, actually.
Thank you.
Yeah. I it's not necessarily what I do, so that's amazing. I mean,
she's kind of
if
just
it's
took
necessary,
something.
spirit will do it, but for the most part, that's not. It's different than what I do, so that's really cool.
Yeah,
because it's necessary and needed, right, Michelle? When it comes down to it, we really need people like you.
And
well, how do you pick your team?
That's my calling. I mean, that was my calling, you know. And like I said, I built my team with other teammates that do other things because I can't do it all.
Right.
I have 2 ladies that are amazing with Reiki healing.
Yeah.
Could I do it? Maybe, but that's not my calling. So I'm not going to go and try to do something that's not me.
Right.
So, I want to make sure that I go the path that's been, pulling me this time, and knock on wood that I'm on the right path. So I'm not going to sway. I get little interest here and there. I get to know a little bit about it, but I'm not going to do it. If you said, hey, can you do Reiki on me? I'm going to say, yeah, not today. But I will tell you, you screwed up 10 years ago. That's how I'll finish that sentence.
Michelle, I'm actually picking your brain right now, and you probably know it because you're psychic. But when it really comes down to it, I'm trying to build a team. So in reality, like I have, Cindy as a psychic, I'm building like things like I'm trying to build an entire team. Genevieve, historian. Taryn, historian. Kenny Biddle, a skeptic. Psychic Cindy, a psychic. Me, I'm raw material. I'll go in and go get the evidence. I'm not scared of shit, but then, I have to go back to Cindy and stuff like that because I'm not a psychic, or I'll get a historian like Genevieve or, or Taryn on there. And then,
right.
Well, yeah. And then, I have to go to I would love to have a Kenny Biddle on my side where he questions friggin' everything. What a great guy he is. I mean, shit like that. I'm trying to build a team. How did you go about finding a team? Like what made you comfortable with finding these people?
Actually, I wanted to make sure when I say it, it's kind of like, I asked for the right team. I wanted to be diverse. There's not one person on the team that is the superstar, if you want to call that. I count on them to do other things. I have other, psychics on the team. I have empaths on the teams. I have sensitives on the team. I have historians. I have a tech guy, because I'll be the first to tell you, I always forget to hit the record button on the damn record because when you see it,
we're not there.
You don't think about it.
Yeah.
Right.
I get it.
I make sure as I'm choosing, I want to have people who all can do something different, because to me, when you're going in to do something, it has to be a team. I got to be able to look at my other psychic and say, I am seeing this, but something's trapped behind it and I cannot see it. Can you guide, help me? Right. I love working with other psychics. I don't think I'm a better psychic than anybody else. We all have to complement each other.
Sure, exactly.
Cindy does stuff that I don't do. And Cindy just said I do something she doesn't do. So if we were in a situation, we would be able to bounce off each other.
Absolutely.
And actually help what needed to be helped, because not one of us was like, oh, I'm better than you. It doesn't work that way.
It's the thing is a lot of times, unfortunately, what it comes down to is ego, right?
Yes.
And then of course I have to flash my wrist. Hashtag get the F out of ego. I behaved myself, Dom.
I know you did good.
Well, and that's the thing. Ego is a big thing. But again, we're in it for the right intentions.
Right.
And that's how I choose people. I interview them. So funny thing is I have a day job and I manage a credit union. So I already have employees that work under me. Right. So I use that concept to build my team.
Very
Everybody
good.
wants to be a paranormal investigator.
Yes.
Well, here's what I'm looking for. Can you do this? But I also remember they're all volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
So being a volunteer,
Yeah.
I expect a lot from them, but we'll take what they give.
But I have another question. So intuitively, did you intuitively pick them out? Listen, because we do. When it comes down to it, Michelle, we know who is legit and who is not legit.
Some are already on here. Don't let them know. No, actually,
Too legit to quit.
yeah. But no, it's true. You
Yeah,
actually do tap in. You know, and you kind of get a sense, you know, are they there thinking they're going to get the 5 minutes of fame, or are they there for the right thing?
Well, that's the thing too. And you know what? That's actually what kind of pissed me off about things, of why I started the big no is don't investigate alone. I started doing alone because I got tired of people coming into investigations with me who did it for the nostalgia, saying I was on a ghost hunt. I'm not in here to make your night that say you're on a ghost hunt. Like, this is real. This is real to me. I'm trying to figure out what this is. The next steps to helping someone, or fixing a house, or exercising a house, things like that. That's what I do. I have one person I trust right now as far as being a paranormal investigator. Besides, like, the ones I'm meeting, the one I bring with me, I trust them completely, because you have to worry about if they're gonna fake an EVP, if they're gonna, like, you know, if you say you do a Ouija board session and stuff like that, if they're moving, you know, things around, you gotta fully trust this person that you bring in there. It's crazy.
Well, and here's the thing, you know, I kind of see it. So Candy, when I first met them, you know, she was doing the talking, he wasn't. And then I just turned to him and said, so how long did you know you had your abilities, and why haven't you talked about those? And his eyes got really big. And I'm like, oops, maybe I shouldn't have done that.
But you can't help it.
You can't, because it was like he was already, you know, telling me. And it was amazing. Like I said, you know, when I pick the team, I pick them as family. I want to know that if I'm in the dark, you have my back.
Exactly.
Because if I don't feel physically you have my back, then I know spiritually you're not going to have my back. I don't want you on my team.
Listen, it's so important, Michelle. I was doing an investigation, and I was with Teddy Poo Poo, who is my co-host. I'm his co-host on Paratalk Radio. But we do investigations together. Literally, I was gone. I was not there. They're like, oh, is Cindy sleeping? And I'm sitting here going, I can hear you guys. I need a little help here. But I can't convey that. So it just looks like I'm sleeping. And Teddy literally had to come over, and he had to touch me. He's like, Cindy, are you okay? Cindy, are you there? Cindy, it's time to come back. Cindy, it's time to come back. Literally, I was in the void, and I just couldn't come back.
Yeah.
And you need
the thing. Yeah, you do.
See those things. You have to be able to trust them to see the things that are not, that we can't necessarily always speak of, right?
Correct.
It's huge.
Trust is
a huge thing.
When you had brought it up earlier, Cindy, to Michelle about protection spells, I got, you know, I don't do any kind of protection spells going into these things because I'm an idiot. You know, I know. I kind of, because I go in there as raw. I get it, but I go in there raw. But I have to watch out for these people.
What did I do as soon as I came in there?
I know.
What did I do? I protected you guys. I said, listen, I got a white light you guys. I got a white light myself. We got to do this.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I gotta protect the people going in there with me, because they're you know, some shit might get attached to them that they don't even know about. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because I'm like that doesn't mean they are. So they don't even know half the shit they're getting themselves into. That's why I gotta protect my team. Yeah. Like, when I have a team.
Exactly.
So
that's the thing. We all do that. We let each other, you know we have each other's backs.
Right.
We know where we're going and things like that. So, you know, when you have someone that's in tune with you, so, you know, myself and all the psychics on the team, or anybody that's sensitive, we have done different things that kind of put a bond. So we can kind of tell if somebody needs help without overreacting, you know?
Sure.
and that helps, and you kind of grow on that. Does that mean everybody that you've had on your team is that great? No, you know,
No.
you're going to get the ones that come and go.
Exactly.
But again, they're volunteers. I can't control it, you know, but what I can control is that you're not going to be a fool when we're somewhere.
Right.
Or I say thank you for your time and don't come again. Yeah.
I agree with you, Michelle. I 100% agree with you.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
No, that's
So,
the best way to put it. I couldn't put it any better, to
yeah.
be honest with you.
Yeah.
It just is
Michelle,
what it is.
so you work at a credit union, and I used to work in banking.
Oh, well, I came from big banking and I needed a break because it was all numbers and not people. And I'm like, well,
really
I do this at night and help families. Why am I not doing it during the day?
Yeah.
And so I went to start working at a credit union.
Ah, that's awesome. I'm so happy. So we have that little bit of background in that way. We both had the finance, and
Yeah.
I'm literally a mobile notary. That's what I do. That's my no. It's I do my businesses are my mobile notary and
That's cool.
my psychic business. Yeah.
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 Now, Michelle, on top of all this, do you have anything like, are you writing a book? Have you written a book about what you went through? Like, do you have something coming up?
I am actually been talking about it because people have mentioned it about writing a book. Here's the thing.
I already thought you did. That's the weird part.
I
already
thought so too.
you
That's why I
had
brought it up.
Not yet. It's one of those when you have so much up here, you don't know how to put it on paper. So I've actually started, I'm going to find, no pun intended, a ghostwriter. So I'm going to have to, I know, right? That was so good.
That was fantastic.
Recording myself, then get it on paper. Because of the things I went through as a child and the way it was, you know, done and my whole journey. It's going to be one of those books, but I will warn people, it will have cuss words in there.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have seen the good part of me. I haven't even talked about crazy things.
That's what I'm saying. But it is parental advisor. You could curse. But I'll tell you something. You remind me of something. When I write my books and stuff like that, I have to record it myself because my mind is working faster than I could write.
Correct.
So I have to record the shit.
There's also Dragon. I don't know if you're familiar with it, Michelle, but it will literally it will speak to text your what you do.
Well, I might have to try that too.
Yeah, but if you get a typo, it'll piss you off.
There's some pretty amazing things, and you can go back and fix it if it needs to be. But you really, it's one of the things that. So when I was in college, and because I have learning disabilities, I had that where you could use speech to text.
Oh, nice.
And Dragon is one of the best ones, and that's what the college used.
Oh, nice.
Dragon.
Yeah, Dragon is
Michelle,
pretty.
you got a lot of people in here tonight, my friend.
Well, nice. Hey, while we got a break, I just want to thank everybody who's on here with us, and of course, all the peeps that follow me. Sending you out my love. Thank you.
Sweet.
Yeah, and like I said, we're not going to do it all night. I probably, maybe another 5 more minutes. If anyone has a question for Michelle, let's do this.
I may have to come to Michelle to see what she picks up from my past lives. Listen, I know so many of my own because I've gone through them, but I'd be curious what you picked up.
I'm going to be on the phone with her tomorrow, whether it's probably a text or something, because, I want to work with Michelle for sure. We already know that one. Michelle, I really hope, like I said, I was nervous jumping in this show with you tonight because I didn't do a lot of I researched someone else but at the same time, it actually came out really good. I hope I did you justice tonight as far as with the Mystery Adventure Stores, and you had a good time and you're comfortable and people who are watching you are comfortable as well too. So I hope I at least did that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I've actually had a blast here. You guys are amazing. I love that, we're able to carry on a conversation. It's not a one-sided. So that's big kudos to you.
It's huge when you have the interplay and the interaction.
Yes. And it's not always about me, and thank you for allowing me to talk about the team and everything, because without them, I couldn't be me, they're yeah, they're they're my family, man. Don't make me cry. Right?
I love that you smile with that too, because you are proud of your team. That's the way I feel
so
about my
proud.
friends too.
Yes.
I love that about you.
Okay, so I have to say this. I love your backdrop. That's amazing.
Well, thank you.
I need that in my life. Look, I have this, but I love it. But that is absolutely amazing. I could use something like that for my D&D game.
I was gonna say the jean jacket's the shit, man. You look good in that jean jacket. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
I need a jean jacket for next Monday.
I
love it.
You're hip if you're in a jean jacket. I'm just telling you.
I love
but
it.
and I'm not sure if Maria's watching, but if she is, want to tell her thank you for hooking us together, because I think this is amazing. You have done
This is awesome.
Amazing.
And here's for Maria, Mystery Adventures Tours at the bottom.
Yes.
Go check out Maria in that entire tour. If anyone wants to join on the Scotland trip, let's do it, because I'm probably going to go on that one myself, and we could sit at a pub with Michelle.
Oh my God. Imagine us all at a pub. Oh my Maria, we need help.
You're the one. You guys are the psychic ones. You could already foretell what's going to happen.
It's like, we need to get out the back door now.
Michelle,
listen, I want to go to those. I want to go to the UK just because of the history. I just would love to touch something that is more than 500 years old and
oh my gosh, yeah,
has a story to tell.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and like I said, these tours that she puts on, no matter which one you pick, I mean, to be able just to do the deposit and then pay as you go and not feel stressed about it. You don't find things like that out there. So it doesn't matter which tour. I want you guys all to come up to mine. That would be great, because I think it would be, fabulous. Yeah. But there are so many different ones depending on what, you're really into.
Yeah. I'm probably going to catch shit for this one too, but like I said, I don't care. These tours are absolutely affordable. Like yes, I've seen the Romania one.
Can we talk about price point?
I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm allowed to talk about. I just kind of get in trouble like every now and then when I just bring shit up. So, but these tours
they're all different prices depending on, because some are shorter, some are longer. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of hard to just put one price. But if you actually click on it, each one is in detail of what it breaks it completely down for everybody.
So you're the one that you're talking about, the Scotland one is there's different price points in it?
Nope. If I'm correct, mine is 1975, I believe.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's 9 days, 8 nights. And I mean, you're
wait, 9 days and 8 nights?
Yes.
For 1975. But that probably does not include your airfare, right?
It does not. And the reason we can't include the airfare is because of the way the different things of, with COVID, all the airfares are going.
But think about all the stuff you're going to get for that price. I mean, like, we're not selling the tour or nothing like that. I mean, you could go on a friggin' cruise for 4 days and spend that in fucking 2 days and 3 nights and shit, and not see nothing but an ocean and a bunch of parties. Like, look at all the stuff you're going to get on this friggin' tour. You know what I'm saying?
It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, who else can say, you slept in a castle,
right?
Or, and things like that, and you're going to be able to see, all these different stores and stuff, so you're going to be doing other things, and you're going to be on these like limo types of buses that it's going to take us to every area. So you're not driving, you're not going to have to pay an Uber, you're not going to have to worry about things. So everything it's all VIP, no matter what tour you take with her.
Right.
They're all like that.
And for somebody that doesn't know Maria is a fabulous individual. I mean, like, she's one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. I mean, just hospitality alone. When I went to her bed and breakfast here and then filmed at her house, very easy to talk to. Go find Maria. Get a hold of Michelle too with these websites that we have here. I mean, these are good people. My point is this: you're going to meet good people on this trip. on no matter what trip you go on, you're gonna have friends for life because you guys got to experience something that is almost like once in a lifetime when you think about it.
It is.
I mean,
So-
think about it this way. I just broke it down with the math. If you started saving for this trip that's in October, it's 14 months away, right? So from August to October, it's $141 a month.
Correct.
Right. That's nothing.
That's nothing.
Well,
That's
I mean, I
cheaper
get
than a
money.
cell phone bill.
Right.
Right. 141 divided
That's a
by
pub bill.
4.
That's a pub bill in a week.
2.5. That's $31.33 per week.
Yeah.
See, I made Michelle laugh. I'm happy about that one. I did my job.
That
Yes.
is a Starbucks coffee for 6 days.
Correct.
Not even 5 days.
Yep.
And
All right.
if
So
you
let's all
look
go to
at that,
Scotland.
Yep. And if you look, it's 1995. I apologize. My bad.
That's easy. Shit.
1995. Okay, let's correct this then.
But still, you think about it right now. If you look at some of the airfares and you're going out a couple months, you're finding,
$142.50.
you're finding round trip tickets to the UK for like $700 to $800, which they used to be like $1,200 and $1,300.
The price of the actual trip.
Yeah.
I get it.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's why we didn't have the airfare. So, because they keep going down, and there's some of them you can find for like $500-$600 round trip. So that gives you the flexibility.
Yeah.
Well, let's all everyone go on friggin', and let's bring Courtney back up too. Go to Gettysburg as well. I mean, there's the research. I mean, that's United States right there. Go see it. Go see Gettysburg with Courtney. Go check it out. And then let's go to Scotland. I mean, whatever trip fits you, let's go. I mean, I think I'm going to Scotland now.
I will be there as everybody comes off the plane to greet you guys all to Scotland. I mean,
Michelle, you know what the one thing I'm scared of about this trip? I'm not sure if I'm going to get back on the plane. I may stay in Scotland or Romania. I'm not really friggin' sure.
Stop it.
hey, you'll have to
I'm
come
my
back
own-
to do a show to tell everybody how great it was.
I could do it from here.
There you go.
He's like, I could do it from any place.
I could do it from my friggin' iPhone somewhere.
Computer.
Michelle.
Yeah, your phone.
Cindy, ladies, you have made my night. I want to thank each and every person for being in here, supporting Michelle, supporting Cindy.
Awesome.
Cindy, before we get off of here real quick, I do want to represent you. Tell us where we're going to see you next and what you got coming up too, just out of respect.
I am one of those medium psychics that do tarot online. So I do. I have Tarot Tuesday. I start at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find me on my YouTube because I don't do Facebook anymore. The Psychic Cindy on YouTube and Instagram, and I am Psychic Cindy on Facebook. However, I won't do anything live on there anymore. I also have my podcast with WLFE-DB.com, and that is Just Cindy Podcast on my The Psychic Cindy on YouTube. On Sundays, I do my nerding out, and I'm with the Bipolar Dragons on YouTube, and I have fun being a nerd and playing D&D with some friends.
I'm going to forever I love Jason, but I'm going to forever make fun of you for that one. I'm sorry, guys. Don't hate
I'm okay with it. And it's with the Bipolar DM, Jason.
He's cool.
He is cool as hell. And also, then you catch me back on Monday with Paratalk Radio with my lovely, beautiful, I'm his co-host, as he would say. So I'm co-host with Teddy Poo Poo, a.k.a. Ted Van Sun. And we are also on WLFE-DB.com for that as well.
Well, I do want to personally thank you, Cindy, right in front of everyone, for being a friend, family, and partner in this right now on Real Talk with Dom. While Genevieve takes a little bit of time off,
That's right.
I
love that, Genevieve.
I miss my sister, and she's going to be back. Michelle, I can't wait for you to meet her. You're going to love her for sure.
Genevieve is awesome sauce.
Indeed. So what I'll do is I'll end the show in a moment, but I'll do it as I do for Genevieve. I'll say, "Hey, Jen." "Hey, Cindy." Hey, Michelle.
Down.
Cheers.
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 Thank you, Michelle. I'll see you again.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Indeed. Bye.